Namaskar friends. Friends, in the last two videos, we studied the primary intelligence in any individual or any human being. And that primary intelligence is one of the four of being a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. That is the intelligence within which a person works for a living. Now we come to the secondary intelligence. Friends, only a couple of decades or 1 or 2 centuries back, there used to be jatis. What were jatis? Like a carpenter, badhi, or a goldsmith, or an ironsmith, or a teacher, or a woodcutter, and so on. So only a few decades and centuries back, there were very limited occupations which could be counted on the fingers. And they were termed as jatis. And because of the constricted visions of some of the people during those times, again, the progeny of a particular jati person were supposed to be following their parental jati. But many examples are available. For example, that of Karn, who, although having the parentage of a Sud, but he became a Kshatriya. We know the entire story about it, but we will not describe it here. Actually, he was born Putra of Kunti, but Sud rescued him from drowning and brought him up. Yet he chose the profession of being a Kshatriya. So, besides that, the point which I want to bring out is that jati is not by parentage again. So, in those times, there used to be a few jatis 10, 20, 30, or maybe 50. And if you evaluate what a jati is, being a carpenter or being a goldsmith or being a ironsmith, it is primarily the skill of the person, the skill with which a person earns his living. So, jati is nothing but the skill. And in today's times, there are innumerable skills, there are innumerable professions within which there are hundreds and hundreds of skills. People are into IT. In IT itself, there are hundreds of different branches, each having its own importance and skill. In, for example, medical profession, besides the medical practitioners, the doctors, there are pharmacists, there are nurses, there are so many other sub professions within a major category. Among engineers, there are hundreds and hundreds of different types of skills which are required. So, what does these skills Bhagwan Krishna terms as? Again, friends, we go to Shrimad Bhagwat Gita, and in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan says, Vyasatmika buddhi reke kurunandan bahushakha hinantash buddhyo vadev sainam. O son of Kuru, there is only one major kind of occupational intelligence. The one intelligence that a person has a natural bent for. And Bhagwan Krishna also says that there can be innumerable occupational intelligences in the world. Friends, note at that time, Bhagwan Krishna is saying that there can be innumerable occupational intelligences, Vyavsatmik Buddhimata, Vyavsatmik Buddhi. And he says every person has at least one major occupational intelligence. Just to tell you here right now that both the primary intelligence, the Varna of a person, Bhagwan Krishna calls it as Dharma, and even Jati, Bhagwan Krishna calls it as Dharma. So Bhagwan Krishna is simply saying that a person should be following his own dharma. That means a person should be following his or her own intelligence to earn a living. A person should not be looking at others, and if the person himself doesn't have those intelligences, he takes up those occupations of other intelligences, then he is going to face problems. For example, if a person is having the intelligence of being a teacher and he says, okay, Vaishyas are making big money, and he goes and tries to run businesses, then what is going to happen? He is going to fail. So that is what Bhagwan Krishna says in the following verses. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravdante vipashchita vedvarita parthananya dastiti vadina कामात्माना स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फलपदाम क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम भोगैश्वर्य गतिपति भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानाम तया प्रहृत चेतसाम व्यवसात्मिका बुद्धि समाधो न विधीयते. O Parth, those who have been deluded by the desires and long for the heavenly life, and who say that there is nothing beyond indulgences as described in the Vedas, such people devoid of wisdom speak such flowery language. For indulgences, there are numerous activities which provide results according to the karma. With that flowery language, whose mind has been deluded and pulled towards indulgences, who is drowned in indulgences, that person's intelligence is not focused on one single inherent occupation which a person is born with. So, in short, Bhagavan Krishna is saying that the people who run after desires and you believe that life is all about indulgences and they will do everything to indulge into sensual pleasures, they don't bother about their own intelligence and they are not focused upon one single intelligence they are born with. So they will try to do different things according to other people's intelligences and not their own intelligences. And they are bound to suffer in that manner. Now we come to the next aspect of human intelligence. Friends, the overall intelligence of a person is a mix of these two primary and secondary intelligence. For a living, a person will have both the primary intelligence as well as the skill intelligence or the occupational intelligence. So for example, I am an engineer, so I can go into the profession of teaching. So then my intelligence is a mix of Brahman and engineering. I can also go into protection of the society, into police or military. Then it's a mix of Kshatriya and engineering. I can also go into business. I can trade into engineering goods, manufacture them or trade them, then it's a mix of Vaishya and engineering. Or I can also just take up a job with somebody, then it's a mix of Shudra and engineering. So every individual has one primary intelligence and one secondary intelligence. Skill also, there may be multiple skills in a person. For example, a person may be an accountant and a singer and, and maybe some other skill also. Maybe he's good at carpentry. But for the purpose of occupation, for earning money, he will use only one intelligence. Maybe he uses two, but the primary intelligence will remain one. So, this is how the basic intelligence in a person has been defined in ancient Indian texts. And this definition is universal. It is irrespective of which religion you are, which faith you are, which country you belong to, which color of skin you have. It is irrespective of that. These definitions are applicable universally. So now we go on to the next lecture in which we'll discuss the quality of intelligence.